Good morning, KOD Nation. Good morning, Yankees Universe. This is another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew. You degenerates, wake up and get your coffee. How we doing on this fine Thursday? Got one more day to Friday. We know we like to celebrate TGIF here. Roy says all the pitchers were throwing filth last night. It was good to see. Absolutely, my guy. Absolutely. Especially what we got out of JP Sears. If you guys didn't know, JP Sears was making his first start of the season this year. He was up here with the Yankees as a reliever, so he did have a couple appearances before, pitched a couple innings. But as a starter, JP Sears showed up last night. Sears, we can count on you, as they say. But it was awesome to see. And it was also to see his family was at the game also being interviewed by the Yankees. It's a good story. You know, JP Sears apparently is a local boy. I think they said he was from Toms River, New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken. If I got that wrong, please correct me in the chat. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they said Toms River, New Jersey he's from, just like Marinaccio. So it's good to see a lot of these young boys coming from around the tri-state area. You know, I know where they have the Little League World Series is not a hop, skip, or a run from New York City. I know that, but it's still the tri-state area. So good to see some tri-state area kids get a chance. Everybody who's tuning in on Instagram, my boy Nasty Boy Jones, what is good? You can click the link that's in my bio, jump right over to YouTube and join the conversation. We just talking Yankees. We just drinking the coffee. Hope all is doing well, my guy. But great win. Good Yankee win. Was it a slobber knocker? Were we outscoring guys? No, but we got hits when we got hits. And the one who got the big hit last night, this young man, Miguel Andujar, he got the call that they need him up on the major league rosters, and he showed up. One thing Miguel Andujar does anytime he's here is he hit. He hits. Last night was a perfect showing of that. He was 2 for 3 last night, got an RBI. And while watching the game, he didn't look that bad in the outfield. That was one thing that they pointed out during the broadcast with Paul O'Neill, with Michael Kay, with David Cone, that he looked like he belonged in the outfield. He looked comfortable chasing down balls out there. His routes were good. He didn't get confused on any pop-ups. So Miguel Andujar looked good. And also, we talked about it yesterday. Foxy brought it up. But Gleyber Torres and that fourth man outfield and right field, Gleyber Torres ran down the ball. He was joking about it, but he looked pretty good as well. The defense in the infield, yes, the defense in the infield was a bit concerning. You are absolutely right. In that first inning, it was a bit choppy. It was a bit shaky. But JP Sears, he put all that to the back, and he was able to get those outs when he needed to get those outs. But you are absolutely right, Leroy, that at the beginning of the game in the first inning, the defense was pretty suspect. It really was. I'm not gonna say it wasn't. It really was. Oh man, that right there, Hicks dropping the ball in the ninth was that goes to show you that he doesn't have any hustle. And I said this multiple times before, that Aaron Hicks' hustle in the outfield is the problem. My guy, let's go Yankees. That's right, baby. Aaron Hicks's hustle in the outfield, how he runs for ball, how he tracks down balls, it's a problem, and it's starting to show. We've seen him when we was in Baltimore, when he was trying to track down a ball, and he allowed a guy to tag up from first to second. Mountcastle, who's not fast at the same time. We saw it, and in that same game, there was a single right in front of him that he didn't die for. We saw it. So yeah, Aaron Hicks's defense is pretty sloppy and it's pretty suspect right now, and that's something that he needs to step up 100%. But we got a lot of news yesterday. A lot of movement was going on. I'll get to the Jason Dominguez stuff later on, but there's a lot of injuries, and we got hit with the injury bug real quick. It's literally been like a week and a half, and these injuries just keep on piling up. Loaisiga, he's out with shoulder inflammation. It's the same injury that took him out 3 weeks last year. If you guys remember, in September, I think it was the beginning of September, Loaisiga had that same problem, shoulder inflammation. Now, my only thing is, how long has Loaisiga been pitching with this? Because we've seen this year, last year, Loaisiga was basically the best reliever in all of baseball. When you look at the stats, wins above replacement, what his WAR was, Loaisiga was the best reliever in all of baseball. But then you look fast forward to 2022, he's having a horrible year. ERA's in the 5, his control's not there, the break's not there on his slider. And then the news comes out yesterday, shoulder inflammation right before the game. They were real sketchy with releasing the lineup too. I didn't see the lineup till like literally 30 minutes right before the game started. 40 minutes right before the game started. But yeah, how long has Loaisiga been pitching with that injury? That's a problem. Josh Donaldson, I know, he is the bad guy. He is the evil man, Josh Donaldson. 2 things with Josh Donaldson. 1, they put him on the COVID IL. They said he hasn't tested positive for COVID, so that's a good sign. He's just, he's just feeling the symptoms, just like Higashioka and just like Joey Gallo was. So that's a good sign right there. Hold on, let me just close this window up, because for some reason Siri thinks I'm talking to her. I'm not talking to you, Siri. Mind your business. Stop trying to pop up and mess up this stream. But when we look at it, Josh Donaldson, like I said, the 2 things, COVID IL. The good thing is that he didn't test positive. He only has the symptoms, so hopefully he could, come back within the next few days, serve his 1-game suspension, just get that over with, and just throw that in the rearview mirror, and let's just look forward for the rest of the season. The crud is working its way through. Yep. It's like when you have a rust on the bottom of a car. The rust is going to eat his way through, and that's what's happening right now. The Yankees have been the healthiest team to start off the season. Knock on wood. Don't want to jinx us, because for some reason, Jigga Man and myself, we was talking about these injuries when he was on. We was talking about how healthy the Yankees been for this entire season, and then right when we say that, we have so many injuries. So, Jigga Man, we was thinking about canceling the show because of all this, but you know what? We said, we can't do that. We got to be here for the Yankee universe, and we here. So yeah, Josh Donaldson should be coming back soon. And also with Josh Donaldson, right? Josh Donaldson is taking responsibility for what he said. Apparently Josh Donaldson has reached out to Jackie Robinson's wife to apologize, and that's all you can ask of him. Hold yourself accountable, do what you have to do the work to make sure that you're a better human being for the future. Point blank, period. There's a lot of contention in this Yankees universe, Yankees Twitter sphere. 50-50, how the fans are. All I'm going to say is take the note of what the player is doing. He has acknowledged that he was wrong. He acknowledged after the game he was wrong. He said that if it was disrespectful, he was wrong. He should have never said it. Aaron Boone said it perfectly. He apologized. Now let's move forward. Let's throw this in the rear view. Let's not talk about it no more. That's it. Because what this is doing is taking away from how good this Yankee season is. After a horrible and dismal Knicks season that just passed, and the Yankee season, how it ended last year, this right here is a perfect caveat and a perfect way we could go forward. And let's enjoy this summer, because this summer with this team is going to be very, very interesting. All right. Now, down the line, we got Chad Green. Chad Green has been one of the Yankees farm systems, one of the Yankees farm hands for years. Chad Green was around when we had Dylan Betances coming up. And if you look at it, and if you look at this Yankee roster, Chad Green is the longest tenured Yankee we had on this roster. I know it's kind of weird to say, But if you look at this roster and how it was conferred and how it is right now, Chad Green has been the longest tenured Yankee. If I'm wrong, somebody please correct me in the chat. But Chad Green has been a part of this team for a while, and it's going to be sad for him to go. He's going to get Tommy John surgery. We all know how the nature of the business is. This was his last year on his contract with the Yankees. He's not going to be back till he's going to miss all of next year, all of the rest of this year. So he'll be back in 2024. Now, will it be with the Yankees? I don't know. Would I love to see him back with the Yankees? Absolutely. It doesn't even have to be in the high pressure situations as he was before. If you guys want to bring him back just to see what you can get, lightning in a bottle, I think, Chad Green deserves it. He's been a loyal Yankee for years. He's been a class act for years with this organization. And I would love to see Chad Green come back. But on to the big fella, Giancarlo Stanton, the artist formerly known as Mike Stanton. But yeah, Giancarlo's, it was kind of concerning when he took himself out the game the other night. Now, at first, we all thought it was a calf issue. And we was like, oh my God, it's a calf issue. So, it could trickle down into many other things. A calf tightness like that could be a couple days, could be a 15-day injury list, 10-day injury list, or a 60-day injury list. It just depends. Everybody's body is different. I understand that perfectly now that I'm going through what I'm going through. But Giancarlo Stanton, his injury was updated, and Booney let it be known right before the game. It was a lower ankle inflammation. Let me just read it. Right ankle inflammation. So his right ankle, it's a lot better than his calf. So we could just let out that big sigh because we always wondering it could be the worst. So just relief. Giancarlo Stanton's going to do what he got to do to get back and become healthy. But Stanton, see you back in 10. Yep. You took the words right out my mouth. See you back in 10, buddy. You'll be back in 10 days. But now Aroldis Chapman as well. And it's not crazy, but it's unique how this Yankees bullpen is shaping itself out. 3 of our big guys, Chapman, Green, Loaisiga, gone, right? But then the next man stepped up. Clay Holmes, he's a new closer. Looks phenomenal. Michael King, I know he got roughed up the last time he was out, but Michael King is looking phenomenal out there. So our 2 best pitchers right now are Clay Holmes and Loaisiga out that Clay Holmes and Michael King out that bullpen. You would have never thought that. I think his days as a closer, honestly, are done, especially with the Yankees. I think the days of Aroldis Chapman as a closer is done, and hey, if we could get Chapman back healthy and he could be a phenomenal piece in that 6th, 7th, 8th inning row, I'll take that. He'll be walking at the end of this year. I'll take that. Or if he could prove that he's healthy and he could go on a stretch of dominance pitching the 7th or 8th inning. We got the trade deadline. If the Yankees decide, you know what, we'll eat up majority of that contract to get a decent piece back. I'll be cool with that. Would you guys be cool with that? I know I would be. But when you look at this team, let's be real. You curse the Yankees injury, but I know. I'm sorry. I apologize. You know what? Show's done. Season's over. Bye. No, but yeah, that's why I don't like to predict on certain things or say it into existence because sometimes it happens. Another big thing that happened yesterday has nothing to do with the major league team, right? This is something that came up out of nowhere, and I almost had a panic attack. I'm texting Jigga Man to be like, my man, talk to me. Let me know. Talk me off the ledge. There's something going on in this Yankee universe that I don't know, and I'm getting a bit scared. But if you guys seen it, nice. If you guys seen it, and if you guys know Jason Dominguez, Yankees rookie, Yankee prospect, 19-year-old phenom, El Marchand, the Martian, he was taken out of his game for the low A Tampa Bay Tarpons. No injury, no nothing. Cool. Maybe we thought, oh, he'll probably get, they took him out because they got to call him up because he has been on fire. in the minors with these past 2 weeks. If you guys look it up on the Google web, he had a home run one of his last games, and it was a monster shot, a moon shot. So it's looking like Jason Dominguez is starting to put it together down there. But then we looked at his social media, and every Yankee affiliated post, every Yankee thing, anything that was associated him with the Yankees, he took off his social media. So that was a bit concerning. You know, not sure if it's just, hey, him just doing it just to do it or what. But it threw myself and the rest of the Yankees universe into a whirl spin. So much drama in the LBC. Yep, so much drama in the LBC. It's kind of hard to beat Snoop D-O double G. That's what it was last night. I'm panicking. I'm losing my mind. I'm trying to scour the webs to find anything. I'm on Reddit, going through Yankees Reddit threads, trying to figure out what's going on, and nothing. There's nothing. There's no news on it. There's hardly anybody's covering it besides just Twitter and just Yankee fans on Instagram and TikTok losing their minds. I was one of them. I'm not going to lie. I was collectively losing my mind with the rest of the Yankees universe yesterday around, I want to say about 6:15 in the afternoon, because about 6:15, 6:20 in the afternoon. But yeah, it was scrambling, trying to figure out what's going on. But hey, it is what it is. It's the business. You know, the business is what the business is, and we can't control it. All we got to do is just go along for the ride. So if there's a trade that pops up and the Yankees miraculously get Juan Soto, or the Yankees, hey, my guy, yo, click that link that's in the bio, jump over to the YouTube space, chat in the comments, hit that like and subscribe and join us. Sorry about that, but it's the nature of the business, right? I understand that. I get that. So if the Yankees make a trade for Juan Soto, I get it. Or a Brian Reynolds, I get it. A Ketel Marte, cool. Andrew Benintendi, cool. I get it. But how is it going to work out? What's the pieces that's involved? That's what I want to see. Because for Juan Soto, you're backing up the Brinks truck and you're emptying out the farm system. Volpe's gone. Dominguez gone. Can't count on Luis Hill because he's injured. Wisniewski's gone. Austin Wells gone. Oswald Peraza's gone. Cabrera's gone. So if you were going to trade for Juan Soto, you were just going to release the hounds and just dump all prospects. That's the type of player you make that move for. Because Juan Soto's 24, going to be 25 years old. And if you put Juan Soto in Yankee Stadium with that left-handed bat, that has the potential for a triple crown season. When you have all of Major League Baseball voting, his peers voting, and everyone is in consensus that Juan Soto is the best hitter in baseball, you make that move. You absolutely make that move, and you get him to the Bronx. You get him pinstripes, you get him to the Bronx, and you let that young man do what that young man does, because he hits bombs. And now, we what I said before, if you guys remember, whenever the Yankees, they have their eyes locked in on a target, they don't hold up. They try everything they can to make that happen. Look back to Garrett Cole. Yankees drafted Garrett Cole out of high school. He rejected the offer, wanted to go back to college, wanted to go to college. Went to college, brought up his draft stock, was a first overall pick. Awesome. Cool. Garrett Cole, when he was with the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Yankees tried so many different times to trade for him. So many different times. Reason why the Yankees didn't get him right before he went to the Houston Astros is because Brian Cashman didn't want to give up Clint Frazier. Hindsight right now, 2020, I think he would have made that move. But the Yankees have their eyes set on a player, and it's been set for years. They're going to lock in on that target, like this is Top Gun, and try everything they can to get that player. Now, you're asking yourself, what does that have to do with Juan Soto? It has everything to do with Juan Soto. The Yankees tried crazy to sign Juan Soto before the Nationals did. The reason why the Yankees couldn't, they didn't have that international draft money like the Nationals did to sign him. Juan Soto wanted to be a Yankee prospect, but the Nationals just doubled the offer because they had more money to spend than the Yankees back then. So what did the Yankees do? Okay. They got more international draft money, and they signed Jason Dominguez. They got more international draft money, and they just signed this shortstop this offseason who's supposed to be one of the next best shortstop in all of baseball. And I'm not talking about Anthony Volpe. Back in the days when he was just a 15-year-old, 14-year-old prospect out of the Dominican Republic, the Yankees were trying years to get Gary Sanchez ready to sign with them. If you guys want to deep dive into that, there's a YouTube video that's out right now that covers Miguel Sano and his whole signing process of what went through his signing process and how he was screwed out of a lot of money. Originally, he was supposed to sign with the Pittsburgh Pirates. That didn't pan out, and he signed with the Minnesota Twins. But there was a lot of internal and background noise that was going on with the whole Miguel Sano situation. So I implore everyone, if you have some time, right, go on YouTube later on today or whenever you can and just look up Miguel Sano draft history or Miguel Sano Dominican workouts, Dominican trying to sign with a team in the majors. Look that up when Miguel Sano was a 15-year-old kid and look what he had to go through. And it would tell you about the inner workings of this whole MLB signing period. Now, he said, if we trade for Soto and don't sign Judge, I will be pissed. 100% agreed. 100% agreed. I will be pissed as well. The Yankees have the money to sign both Judge and Soto. 100%. Keith, what is good? Soto over Judge. Listen, Soto is 6 years younger than Judge. 6-7 years younger than Judge. Right? By the time, if the Yankees were to give Aaron Judge a 7-year contract or whatever, by the time that contract is done, Juan Soto will be Aaron Judge's name. And we'll have a whole other 6 or 7 years to play in the major leagues. So as much as I love Judge, I said it before. As much as I love Judge, I love this NY on my jersey even more. As much as Aaron Judge has meant to us as a fan base, I love this NY on my jersey even more. That's just how I feel. You know, last night was an awesome win. Shout out to my guy Keith, who's in the chat. I appreciate you for joining through. Shout you out. But last night was an awesome win. We could all agree with that. It was a 2-0 win. Miguel Andujar came through. Aaron Judge had about probably like two other at-bats besides the one he got out and the double he got, but he had 2 other at-bats where he almost missed a home run. So it's like every time Aaron Judge is up to bat right now, it brings you back to his rookie year, especially early in the season when he was just knocking home runs left and right, left and right, left and right. He's hitting well over 310. He's hitting 315 with 17 home runs, leading all of Major League Baseball. So if Aaron Judge was to have Juan Soto hitting behind him, just imagine what his numbers would be. Just throw that out there. Imagine a lineup that you had Aaron Judge as your 2-hole hitter and Juan Soto as your 3-hole hitter. Who are you going to pitch to? Who are you going to pitch? That's a question that's going to melt any manager's brain. Who would you rather pitch to? Aaron Judge or Juan Soto? Now, the thing about Juan Soto that I love is when you look at his spray chart, just like Aaron Judge, when you look at Juan Soto's spray chart, it's not like he's just a pull here and always is pulling everything to right field. No, he spreads it around. You can't shift on Juan Soto, because if you shift on Juan Soto, he knows how to hit it down the left field line for a double or a triple, because he does have speed as well for a 24-year-old outfielder. He has a rocket of an arm. Our outfield would be one of the best defensive outfields if you got Judge in right and you got Juan Soto in left. And if you could move Judge to center field and have Stanton, Judge, and Soto out there, woo. Now, the Yankees right now, they're building up Miguel Andujar's value by having him play in left field. Because last night, Joey Gallo was back. And they could have easily had Joey Gallo play left field and Miguel Andujar DH. But they decided, no, we're going to switch that. So could we see the Yankees playing Miguel Andujar to bring up his value, to bring up his trade value, to put him in the package for Juan Soto? Don't know. He's like, how many times we've signed the masher that come over and did a fraction of what we thought they did? You're right, but we've never gotten a masher the same age as Juan Soto. When we got Alex Rodriguez, he was 27, 28 years old. When we got Jason Giambi, he was 29, he was 30 years old. When we got Gary Sheffield, he was in his 30s. So when you look at even Reggie Jackson, when we signed Reggie Jackson was 28, 29. So when you look at the history of the mashers that we do bring over, we've never brought a masher over that's the same age as Juan Soto, 24, 25. We've gotten them later on in their career at 28, 29, 30, 31, and so on. We've gotten them when they've done everything, the great stuff of their career before they got to us. Just like with pitching. If you look at all the pitchers we got over the years, Roger Clemens, his best years were in Toronto and Boston. When you look at Randy Johnson, his best years was in Arizona and Florida. When you look at AJ Burnett's best years was in Toronto, fast forward to Pittsburgh. So when you look at all these high class contracts or all these talents that we bring in, we always bring them in after they reach their peak. Is it 30 years and old? You're right. 30 years and old, but 30 is not 24. 30 is not old. You're absolutely right. But in the game of baseball, your prime years is 28 to 32. So when we get players that are in their prime, like an Alex Rodriguez, when we got him at 28 years old, he already hit 50 home runs. And what happened? He got another MVP out of us. He didn't hit 50 home runs, but he got another MVP out of us. So when you look at all these big time contracts we bring in, all these talents we bring in, we always bring them in after they had their big years, after they had their career breakout years. We seem to always do that. Even with some of our homegrown talent, we seem to ship them off before they have their big years. Imagine if we didn't make that trade for Alex Rodriguez and we kept Alfonso Soriano and we signed Carlos Beltran that following off season, because that's how it was shaping out. If the Yankees would have never traded for Alex Rodriguez, we would have kept Alfonso Soriano, moved him to the outfield, signed Carlos Beltran, and we would have had an outfield Soriano, Beltran, and Sheffield, with Hideki Matsui being the fourth outfielder and the DH. That sounds like a phenomenal team. That sounds interesting, in my opinion. But yeah, 30 isn't old, but like Keith said, 30 is not 24. And that's what Juan Soto brings you. When you look at Juan Soto and what he can actually bring, 24 going on 25. He's a left-handed hitter. He's a hitter that just doesn't pull. He hits to all outfields. He hits to all fields. And when you have the majority of baseball players saying that Juan Soto is the best hitter in all of baseball. No. I'm not saying that he's a fourth option. No. What I'm saying is that we could use him as a DH, an everyday DH, and ship him into the outfield once or twice. We could have rotated Matsui and Gary Sheffield. Matsui some days in right field, Gary Sheffield some days DH, and vice versa. Just shipped them out a lot. Believe me, Matsui did win a lot of games for us, but at the same time, Matsui, he only had one season where he hit 30 home runs. And when I saw that blew my mind. He said, with medicine and health, the way it has advanced, 30 is the new 20 and 40 is the new 30. 40 used to be considered a senior citizen in the 50s. Now it's not even. Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But when it comes to baseball, though, for some reason, they don't see it that way. That's why we had to wait so many years for the National League to adopt the DH. because we had so many older baseball players who were in 35, 36, 34, and that age range that could have benefited from the DH in the National League. Barry Bonds is a perfect example. If Barry Bonds was able to spend his last 3 to 4 years, instead of being a outfielder, solely a DH, outfield once or twice, probably could have had an extra year or two. Same thing with Jermaine Dye. You guys remember Jermaine Dye? Jermaine Dye was an all-star, but after he left the White Sox, he was just forgotten in free agency and had to retire. So there's so many players that could benefit from that DH. The National League adopting it, you automatically create 15 extra jobs for major league players. At this point, I was saying this before, I'd rather see Gardner out there than Joey Gallo, but I'm loving what I'm seeing from Miguel Andujar. You know, Brett Gardner, he is an all-time Yankee. He's going to retire Yankee. Don't get me wrong with that. But Brett Gardner, his speed did decline these last 2 years with us. That's one thing that I could say. He lost a step or two last year compared to the year before. But with the way Joey Gallo is hitting, I'd rather see Brett Gardner out there than Joey Gallo. I'd rather see Miguel Andujar out there than Joey Gallo. Hell, I'd rather see my grandma out there with a frying pan than seeing Joey Gallo and what he's doing. I'm just going to say this. We've always had more success with our guys. I don't know why that is, but it is what history tells. Absolutely. 100. When you look at the late 90s and that dynasty, it was built around our core guys. It was built around Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams, Mariano Rivera, Jorge Posada came in 97, so 98, 99, Andy Pettitte. So it was built around our core players. You're absolutely right. But what hampered us for years was that we got our core players, but now we're trying to sign all these aging outfielders, all these aging pitchers, right? We had so many prospects that we shipped off to bring back talent. If you could just just go back, look at the trades the Yankees made. We gave up a Jake Westbrook. We gave up a Bobby Cox. We gave up a Mike Lowe. Willie Mopena, who never turned out to anything. I understand that. But we gave up De'Aaron Navarro, who turned out to be an all-star catcher, who was on that Cubs World Series team. There's been so many players that we just gave up on and shipped them out for an aging star, and it just never worked out. Like when we brought in David Justice, right? And it was an awesome move at the time. He helped us get a World Series, fine. But we signed him to a contract, and he was never the same after that. And that seems to be the problem with us. You know, would I make the trade for for Juan Soto? Yes. Right now, yes. Would I be happy? Oh, my guy, Frederick. Frederick, you found me. Salute, my guy. Hope all is well out there. But let me just get to these comments real quick, because someone take Gallo off our hands, bro. I think the Yankees gonna have to eat that contract in order for anybody to take us. But he said Andujar is having a good year. Good point. What I'm seeing from Andujar is solid. Defensively last night was solid. He was 2 for 3. I'm about to go through the lineups in a second, but Andujar was 2 for 3. Solid move. A-Rod, absolutely. That right there was when the Yankees were flexing their financial muscles. We gave up Alfonso Soriano, and we gave up Joaquin Arias, who turned out to be an okay, solid pitcher in the majors, nothing crazy. But we flexed our financial muscles as well. Your last championship was won by other guys. Yeah. It was our aging guys and other guys. Yeah. He said A-Rod was a liability, and we won in spite of him. To a degree, yeah. But you know, against Minnesota, he put all those critics to bed against Minnesota. His first 2 series against Minnesota and the Angels was phenomenal. 100% phenomenal. A-Rod, Matsui, CeCe, and Mark Teixeira. Yep. But the thing about the whole, Foxy, what is good, Uncle Foxy? But the thing about when the Yankees spent all that money, and I know we got 1 World Series out of it, I'm happy for it. We won a World Series. It's that whole thing with Mark Teixeira and the draft pick we gave up that turned into Mike Trout. Now, I'm not saying that the Yankees would have drafted Mike Trout. I'm not saying that. But when you see that us signing Mark Teixeira led to the Angels, drafting Mike Trout. We did win that championship in 2009, but it still hurts. It still stings a little because if we would have drafted Mike Trout, if we don't know if we would have won more championships having Mike Trout in that outfield playing center field. We don't know. Everything is 50-50. Everything is hindsight. So Mike Trout probably would have never turned into Mike Trout if he got drafted with the Yankees. We just never know. But hey, if there's an alternate timeline when Mike Trout is a Yankee, please, if I go to sleep tonight, let me wake up at that timeline tomorrow when I wake up. But I think when doing a rebuild, it's best to have a good mix of young and old players. Partial rebuild. Yeah. And that's what the Yankees did back in 2017 and 2018 when we had Matt Holliday on this team. That was exactly what the Yankees did. We had a mixture of older guys and a mixture of our young guys, right? But when it came time to make a move and to make a solid move, it was never there, or the move wasn't the move that we thought we made. We traded for Sonny Gray, thinking Sonny Gray was going to be our ace. Never panned out to it. Did any of those prospects we gave up turn into anything special? No. Jorge Mateo is with the Orioles right now. Dexter Fowler, I don't know where he's at, but ever since he got injured, he's been out of baseball. The only person that is turned into a decent major league player is the pitcher. That's escaping my name, but he was injured. Caprellia, but he was injured with the Yankees. So that was a young guy who was a top-rated prospect coming out of high school, but he had Tommy John shoulder surgery. He looked like the operation board. So I was like, all right, you know what? Let the Yankees trade him because he won't be able to help us until 2022, 2023. But that's another player we could have saved and shipped out for someone else. Domingo Germán is in our minor league system trying to rehab off of an injury. That's somebody we could have gave up a couple years ago. Clint Frazier, we was holding Clint Frazier like he was an ace when you're playing spades. You guys ever play spades and you got that one teammate that holds all the aces for the end of the game, which makes no sense. But that's what we did with Clint Frazier. We could have traded him. Miguel Andujar, same thing. That offseason, he had such a great year. We could have traded him, but no. So it's like we make 10 steps forward and we kick ourselves in the rear end at the same time, if you understand what I mean. But let me get my guy. He said, I think Hicks is better than Gallo. Hicks doesn't hit with runners in scoring position, but he at least gets hits occasionally. Right now, if I had to pick out of the two of them, I would pick Hicks over Joey Gallo. They both are strikeout machines. They both strike out like crazy. Just Hicks strikes out a little bit less and his eyes a little bit better than Joey Gallo is. So it's not much, though. You're asking me which two pieces of doo-doo I like the most. Do I like the doo-doo that still has the corn in it, or do I like the one that just smells a little bit better? They're both garbage. Been horrible for us this year, but if I had to pick, it would be Hicks. But hey, that's just me. Foxy's like, yo, Frederick. Now let's just go through the lineups real quick. With the Yankees, the aforementioned Aaron Hicks was leading off. He was 0 for 4. Then you got Aaron Judge was 1 for 4. He had that double down the left field line that everybody thought was almost a home run, but he hit it off the end of his bat. Looked like he broke his bat at the same time. But Antonio Rizzo was 0 for 4. Rizzo is in a slump, and Rizzo needs to get out of that slump real fast. I know he had a home run yesterday, but Rizzo, we need you to start going opposite field. We need you to start going opposite field. And you saw it yesterday and one of his at-bats early on in the game, trying to shoot it into left field. Yeah, he's starting to shoot that way, and that's where Anthony Rizzo needs to stay. But then you got Gleyber Torres, who was 1 for 3. Miguel Andujar, the hitting machine, was 2 for 3. He had that RBI single, and he had that hit to right field. Joey Gallo was 0 for 3 with a couple strikeouts. IKF was 0 for 3. Marwin Gonzalez and Marwinian was 1 for 3. And then Kyle Higashioka came back, and he was 1 for 3. So, solid game from our hitters, but not the Yankee type of win. Hey, 2-0, you're taking any other day of the week. But then the pitching side, you got JP Sears. JP Sears, he pitched 5 innings. Sears, you could always count on me, like Michael K said last night. But Sears pitched 5 innings. He got out of the first and second inning where he had a couple jams, especially in the first when the defense betrayed him just a little bit, but he was able to bounce back. And those 5 innings, he only gave up 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. So a solid start from the rookie while his family was in the stand getting interviewed. But then you got Ron Mariachino, who's another tri-state area kid from Tom River, New Jersey. Mariachino pitched 2 innings last night, 0 hits, 0 runs, 0 walk, and he had 3 strikeouts. So Ron Mariachino looking like a solid pickup from the Yankees. And when it comes to Sears and Mariachino, Sears, the Yankees, they could use both of them out of the bullpen. You know, Mariachino looked like this wasn't his first cup of tea. He looked like he was out there ready to go to battle. So I'm liking what I'm seeing out of those 2 young players. Then you got Lucas Licky, who bounced back, who's been bouncing back ever since his horrible outing. But he pitched 2/3 of an inning, 0 hits, 0 runs, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. Miguel Castro was able to get out of a jam that Licky started, but he pitched 1/3 of an inning, 0 hits, 0 runs, 0 walks, and 1 K. Is tonight's game on Amazon? I live in Port Charlotte, Florida, so Amazon game. Oh man, that's horrible. That is horrible. Oh my God. That's the thing when it comes to that. Yeah, so whatever you do, don't use a website that anybody just types in the chat because you don't know what that website could do. But hey, use the website. Yeah, his changeup is filthy. His changeup is disgusting, and that's what I liked from it. His fastball was lively. It was 94 to 96 with a solid changeup. It's pronounced like the actor Ralph Macchio. Hey, listen, I'm a product of the New York City public school system, so I take highly offense to that. You making fun of me for my pronunciation. No, okay, so let's do it all together. Mariachio. Mariachio. Oh, I'm gonna just call him Ron. How about that? I'll just live with Ron. I live in Wichita, Kansas. I feel you. Hey, listen, thank you guys for tuning in. Florida, I'll be in Tampa Bay, Florida in June. So let's meet up. If anything, you can show me around, introduce me to the nice weather in Florida. But Wichita, Kansas, not even sure if I could find that on a map. But hopefully when I get this schoolie together, me and my girl, we're gonna do a tour around the country. We may stop in Wichita, Kansas, only to see you. I'm originally from Staten Island. Oh, all right, cool. New York City love, New York City love. Listen, I know a lot of people say that Staten Island is not a borough of New York City, but it will always be a borough because you guys are the birthplace of the Wu-Tang Clan. But more into that pitching, Clay Holmes came in and he got a save, his 5th save of the year. Clay Holmes pitched the inning. He got 2 hits, no runs, no walk to the strikeout. Sears, winning pitcher of the day, was 2-0. Clay Holmes is his 5th save of the season. That's our new closer. He said Wichita, Kansas isn't on a map. Well, it wasn't a map in the movie The Wizard of Oz. Thank you so much. But now to the Orioles. Baltimore. We got the Orioles. You got Mullins. Mullins been in a real slump this entire series, but Mullins was 1 for 3 last night. Oh, hold on. I'm about to pull this down real quick. Hold on. That right there, we're going to have a competition on that, right? Because myself, I'm a pizza connoisseur, right? One of my first jobs when I was 17, 18 years old was working at a pizzeria. I used to work at Lombardi's Pizza in New York City down in Little Italy. If you guys don't know, Lombardi's is considered America's first pizzeria. So whenever there's any information about pizza, I'm your guy. There's a guy that used to come, Scott Pizza Tours. Scott Pizza Tours is an awesome place. If you guys visit New York City and you just want a quick history of pizza, look up Scott Pizza Tours online, right? Register for one of his tours. It starts you out in Little Italy at Lombardi's, learning the history of where the pizza comes from, and then it takes you around to different pizzerias in that area. I think before he used to do a bus tour that took you to Harlem for Patsy's, took you to Brooklyn for Grimaldi's, and then you had Lombardi's as well. So if you're ever in New York City and you want something good to do, Scott Pizza Tour, I recommend it. He's a good guy. He's been a good friend to me for so many years. So please look up Scott Pizza Tours, get yourself a sweater, and have some good pizza at the same time. But now back to this. When it comes to this lineup with the Orioles, you had Mullins leading it off. He was 1 for 3. And then you had Trey Mancini. He was 0 for 3. Anthony Santander was 0 for 4. Austin Hayes was 1 for 4. Mountcastle was 0 for 4. The rookie, Adley Rushman, was 2 for 4. Urias, the third baseman who normally plays shortstop against him and Mateo, they be flip-flopping, was 0 for 3. But then the bearded one, Rugi Odor, was 1 for 3. And then Mateo, the former prospect, was 1 for 4. 0 for 4. He said, Rugi Odor playing tough against the Yankees. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And guys, don't forget, the Yankees designated Rougned Odor in order to make room on the roster for JP Sears. So the Yankees, they saw something in Sears, and that was enough to let the bearded one, Odor, go so we can have JP Sears on the 40-man roster. I loved Rugi when he was with us last year. He kind of looked weird without his beard, but I loved what he did for us last year. I like that catcher. Yeah, Adley Rushman is a beast. He is. Adley Rushman is going to be what we thought Matt Wieters was going to be before Matt Wieters got all those injuries. But Adley Rushman is a phenomenal young player, and I'm loving what I'm seeing from him. Will the Orioles move him? If I was the Orioles, I will move him from the catcher position to first base. Just because his bat is that special, you don't want to risk losing that bat because of catching, how it wears and tears on your body and the injuries that could come from it. You don't want to lose that bat. So if I was Baltimore, I'll try to move him to first base, honestly. You know, I think that's a move that the Giants should have done with Buster Posey, especially because Buster Posey in college was known for playing every position. So you could have had Buster Posey at first base or in the outfield, however you wanted to put him. Just like Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer, the reason why they left him at catcher and then moved him to first base because they had Justin Morneau with Minnesota. So I love Adley Rushman. Catching is one of the toughest position in Major League Baseball and all of professional sports, in my opinion. But if I was the Orioles, I would move him to first base. That's just my opinion. He said, my great-grandmother was from Acara, Filthy, Sicily. Made the best pizza. Also got family from... Well, Lombardi's, the owners of Lombardi's, they originated from San Marzano. So if you know where like the San Marzano like fields are where they grow those tomatoes, that's where the Lombardi's family originated from over there, to my knowledge, from what I was taught. But I recommend, if you ever in New York City, make sure you go to Lombardi's if you haven't. Well, Mountcastle, the Orioles, they between Trey Mancini and Mountcastle, they flip and flop them between first base and DH. So if I was them, Trey Mancini could play the outfield. I would DH Mountcastle and I would move Rushman to first base. You know, that's just what I would do. But over here to the pitching side of it, you got Tyler Wells, who pitched 5 innings yesterday, gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. You got Kreiber, who came in after him, who pitched the inning, no hits, 0 runs, 0 walks, and 1 strikeout. You got Gillespie, who came in after him. Gillespie pitched the inning. He gave up 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and no strikeouts. Diplin, awesome name, by the way, came in after him, and Diplin as well. And get this back up. Diplin as well. He pitched 1 inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. And the losing pitcher of record was Tyler Wells. You know, and that just goes to show you that the Yankees pitching was just so much better. JP Sears did everything that we asked of him. Coming into this game, when I saw that JP Sears was going to pitch, all I wanted from JP Sears was just 5 innings, decent baseball, probably 1 or 2 runs, and hand it over to the bullpen. The first 2 innings was a bit shaky. My guy Keith was texting me back and forth saying this is a bit scary, but he was able to wiggle out of it. He said, yeah, but have you ever heard of Papa John's? Me personally, I look at Papa John's and Domino's. You know, you could call me a snob or whatever, but I look at Domino's and Papa John's as just like Lunchable pizza. You remember the Lunchable pizzas that you just got out and just was able to just put the sauce on it? But at 1, 2 in the morning, when your tummy is, you got some alcohol in your tummy and you need it to be soaked up, Domino's pizza is not that bad. You just got to throw extra sauce on it, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Let's look real quick. Let's take a jump around the league before we go anywhere, just to check the standings real quick. In the AL East, the Yankees are still in first place. You got the AL Central with the Minnesota Twins in first place, and the AL West has the Astros. And that AL West between the Astros and the Angels, that's going to be something to see. That's going to be something to see. Hold on real quick. Now, when you move over to the National League, you got the Mets in first place. And you got the Brewers and the NL Central in first place with the Dodgers and that tough NL West in first place. Again, we're going to be paying attention to this NL West race this entire season because that race is going to be special. It really is. Now, the power rankings, they released the power rankings. If you haven't seen, big series starts tonight. I'll get to that right after this because we're about to wrap it up soon. But the power rankings came out. And the power rankings, they got the Dodgers from first. Then you got the Yankees. Then you got the Astros, the Mets, the Padres, the Brewers, the Angels, Tampa Bay Rays, the Minnesota Twins, and the St. Louis Cardinals. But the thing about it is, in that power ranking, you got the Dodgers and you got the Padres. The Dodgers in first place. And you got the Padres in fifth place. They're in the same division. And then when you look at it, you got the Astros, who are third place in the power rankings, and you got the Angels. And then you got the Yankees, who are second place, and you got Tampa Bay, who was in seventh place. So a lot of these divisions have the other division counterparts in the power rankings with them. Out of all the fast food chain pizza, I like Domino's the best. The cheesesteak pizza is good. I like that one. The cheesesteak pizza, not what I would go for. If I would order from Domino's, I would make it like the beef meatballs that they got and just extra sauce. Because I like the extra sauce. Don't get me wrong. I like the sauce that they got. That's just a me. But with tonight's game, let me just give you tonight's starters, and then we'll leave right now after this. And again, thank you guys for all tuning in. I think today was like a record high when it came to viewership. But thank you guys. We're growing this channel. If you got friends who are Yankee fans, if you got friends who are just baseball fans, share this with them. We may have on maybe next week or may try the week after. If anybody in the chat, you want to jump on the panel for a good 2 minutes and speak your mind on any of these issues with the Yankees, you're more than welcome to. Trust me. Just let me know in the chat. You're able to, if you want to talk, you can come up, have you up here for 2-3 minutes. You can say your piece. But for tonight's game, we start a big series, like the roadies pointed out, in Tampa Bay. We're on the road in Tampa Bay. 31 wins, mind you, 31. But we're sending Nasty Cortez out on the mound versus Ryan. Now, I'm going to try to pronounce this name right? Because, I was already pointed out how to pronounce names. So I'm going to try to pronounce this name right. Ryan Yarborough. Hopefully I said it right. But Ryan Yarborough is going to be going for the Tampa Bay Rays. So the lineups aren't out right now, but I can assume since he is a left-handed pitcher, Miguel Andujar will be in the lineup. I could just assume that. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but hopefully he is. But Ryan Yarborough, he's sporting an ERA of 4.20, so he has a 4.20 ERA. He's pitched 15 innings, so he's been mostly used as a bullpen guy. So this may be one of those bullpen games for the Royals that they like to start with a reliever as a starter and then have the rest of their bullpen. Just trick the Yankees lineup for the entire game. Seems like that may be one of the cases for tonight. But Nasty Cortez is 3-1 on the season. He has a 1.80 ERA and 45 innings. He's only allowed 29 hits, 56 strikeouts, and only 11 walks. He's been touched up for the home run board these last couple outings. So hopefully tonight he can have that under control and just have a solid game against the Royals. I'm predicting it right now. Nestor Cortez will be going 7 innings. We'll be giving up 1 to 2 runs, and we'll have 8 to 9 strikeouts. So mark that in your books. Put that with your bookie if you want to. Don't bet the house because we only support reasonable gambling. So don't bet the house. And if it's your first time, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Join the KOD Nation, and we are out of here. Keep spreading the word. Get your friends to watch and go get yourself a night. All right. If you aren't a part of the FCF, if you aren't a part of the Knights of Degen, get yourself a night. What are you doing? Last night, we had John Starks in the Discord with the Knights of Degen. How you doing? So last night, while watching the playoff game, we was having a conversation with John Starks, chopping it up, asking him what's his thoughts were about the playoffs. You know, me as a Knicks fan, I had to ask him, John Starks, you are a legend. What is or who has been your most impactful coach for you your entire career? Whether it's early, whether it's the middle of your career, wherever. He told me it was Pat Riley. That's my guy. That's my guy. Once he said it was Pat Riley, I had to ask him because I am watching that Winning Time. That's on HBO Max. If you guys haven't watched it, I had to ask him, is any of that Pat Riley that's in Winning Time, is that portrayed accurately? And he said, when it comes to the passion of it, yeah, but he hasn't watched the show, so really not too sure. But hey, fellas, I appreciate all you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is KOD Media. This is the Knights of Degen channel, and this is the Yankees Morning Brew. And you degenerates, wake up and get your coffee. Again, Keith, thanks for coming by. Lucci, thanks for coming by. Larodi, thanks for coming by. Who else we had in here? Of course, the man himself, Jigga Man Porto, the guy, the Sly Fox, Stephen Fox. And hey, if you guys are Knicks fans, Foxy and the rest of them over there, Sports Vibes TV, they're doing real good coverage right now of the draft, of the pre-draft. So tune in, Sports Vibe TV, student to my guy Quest, student to the Knicks universe, and all that. But hey, let's go Yankees. Let's get this win tonight. KOD Nation, stand up. Peace.